Hey friends, it's Coach Simon with ToughTrader.com. Doing tonight's trade review. Before we get started, just a quick legal notice. You'll take a minute to read it. Past performance is not indicative of future results. This is for educational purposes only. I'm sharing my trade plan, the results of my trade plan, so on and so forth with you, and I'm hoping that it'll make you a better trader. A lot of the day trading services will make it seem like, well, day trading is so easy and everyone's making millions of dollars, but the reality is they're not, right? It requires, you have to have an emotional component to help yourself. You have to have a psychological component to help yourself. You have to have an actual trading edge. You have to constantly adjust to paces increasing and decreasing. And then you have to come away from that mentality. You have to come away from that mentality that says, I've got to make money every day. Those are just a few of the things that make taking money out of the market difficult. What makes taking money out of the market easier would be my question, right? So if it's so hard, what would make it easier to help people out? And so there's a couple things. The first thing is trade location. Trade location is the most important thing you can possibly have when day trading. Why is that? First of all, you've got to know where the larger buyers and sellers are sitting. And the market profile will tell you that. We're currently looking at NQ, but we can jump over to ES. I trade both of them, but we focus on ES in the REM. And this chart, this is a TPO, or a time-based profile chart. And the chart right next to it is the volume-based profile chart. And that's basically telling me what's going on by time, both in price and in amount of time spent in a particular area, versus looking at a 5-minute bar or 10-minute bar and trying to figure out price from there. This essentially lets me look inside of the day, right? So I want to kind of go through what I go through the day as what's important to me and how I coach individual traders to look at the day, and give you some perspective on where you're looking to trade. So when my traders come in the room, my team comes in the room, which I consider everyone in the room part of the team, right? What they're looking at is, these are the zones. These are actually tomorrow's zones. That is not what I wanted to share. Let's see this here. Where is this? Here we go. I wanted this. No, I didn't want that. So something's wrong here. Let's see real quick if we can fix this. It's in demo anyways. It's fine. No problem. I thought I was sharing the my account number for the entire world, and I was using it to coach someone earlier. So there we go. So the first thing we're looking at is trade location, right? And we had two key trade locations for the day today. We had this 27.43 to 27.45. We didn't make it there. And then we had 27.24 to 27.23. That kind of end capped our days. And so why is this important? First thing I want to answer, it's important because I know if I get here, right? So let me get back on track here. I got tired. And now that I know I haven't shared my trading account numbers with the whole world, I'm kind of cool. So if you'll look, this is a key area. This is a key area. What that lets me know is if I need the highest odds location, this is where I want to trade. I don't know that the market will make it there during the day, but if it does, I know I usually want to trade in that area. And then I'll use the algo that we use in the room to help me make the trading decision, right? So how do I get that? The first thing I'm doing when I'm starting off the day is I'm coming in and I'm looking at this profile. And what this profile tells me, number one, notice how, so there's some simple stuff. You don't have to, there's no state secret here. See how we can't trade below the prior day's low? See that right there? We can't trade below prior day's low. So that's the first thing that tells me that buyers are in overall control. So I don't want to fight that trend, because when the market gets out of control, it can cost me a lot of money. What that means is when I take a short, so this is the important part about that. If I take a short, I acknowledge I'm doing it the hard way, right? If you'll notice, each of these trading days, we're closing near their highs, right? Today's the first day we didn't close near the high. So we did take a short today in the room. I forget where it is here. I can tell you where we entered the trade because I have it on the members Twitter feed. And we entered at 27.38.75 against 27.42. Okay, so I want to talk about this for a second because it's important. That trade, when I took that trade, I acknowledged that the risk of shorting a market that's essentially moving one timing to the upside, which is what this is, right, is a higher risk trade, right? What I see a lot of traders do is they go, well, I'll take the trade, but I only want to take the trade if it's not going to lose me any money. And it doesn't work that way. You always have to have skin in the game if you're going to take the trade. And then the other part of it is you don't want to be skittish on it. You either want to take it, entry, exit, stop, and know what your stop is. But a lot of guys will try to watch the price action and tick it down to the tick. And I get that. I want to do it too, but it ruins a lot of your trades, right? So what I find is it's better to go focus on getting the best trade entry location you can get and going, I'm either willing to make this work or I'm willing to take the knife here, one of the two. I find that works the best for the majority of the people that I coach. Why? Because trying to figure out whether it's going to hang up in a particular area, especially when you're doing it the hard way, the short side, right, is going to take an exceptional amount of time. So this is step one. I know that my easier trade is to the long side. I know that trade's easier to the long side till I at least trade below the prior day's low. And that bar is now set at 27.2375. Tomorrow I come in, we're trading 27.22. I now have a clue. It's a clue, and we're putting clues together. We're investigators. We're trying to put clues together that we're probably going to have a potential change in character. It doesn't mean we absolutely will. It's just a starting point, and I know without trading below prior day's low, we can't get there. And the other part about that is I don't want to be short at the lows when I know I can't even break below prior day's low, right? That's kind of a crazy concept. It's a great way to get run over. Okay, clue number one. Clue number two, when we come into the day, right, we already have trade location, and we're watching the market trade. And so what you're seeing here, when we opened up, NQ was running, but ES really wasn't running. I'm going to show you this here, and if you'll ignore all the little dots that are there, let's get out of the 24 hours. Let's go to back to the regular trading session. Ignore all the arrows. That's just a 5-minute chart. Don't pay any attention to them. The first thing that I'm noticing is this is my first 5-minute bar right here. Okay, so why is the first 5-minute bar important? I go through this with my members every day, right? First 5-minute bar is important because number one, every trader on the face of the earth is watching whether we're trading above or below. Notice that as soon as we close above that bar, we immediately get responsive buyers to push up. That's normal. Also notice that when we come back against the top of that bar and that point of control, notice that back over here to the right, see how they came right into it? They found responsive buyers and were able to push it back up. That's a good trade location, right? See how that they use that as a great trade location, not just once, twice. You had excellent longs out of that location. I wasn't long there, right? And what was the reason I wasn't long? And I'll tell you that right now because it's a reasonable question if someone asked. I wasn't long there because I thought we were on, I think, the 6th or 7th day up in a row, and I thought we were due to fail. Secondly, if you'll notice, all those entries came in there. See this orange dotted line? This is VWAP. I posted on my Twitter stream yesterday why VWAP is both a good place and a hard place to trade. It's a hard place to trade because see how, so this encompasses a 15-minute, almost 20-minute period of time. And what you'll see in here, so it doesn't look like it's very much noise here, but when you cut this down, that area, down to this trading range back in here, so this is the same thing. That's 8:30 in the morning. So see, this is the first push back in. See how we were getting responses off of that? Those are the first pushes back into VWAP. Let me make sure I got the price right. We are looking at 27.25. And that would be back over here. Okay, so see how it looks on that chart, it looks clean cut, but what you actually had was a bunch of whipping back and forth against VWAP. It just didn't simply come in, extend out. It's just never an easy, clean trade. It tends to be very choppy around VWAP. So I don't like trading there. What you're seeing, this on the right, I call this my trading radar screen. And basically the concept's pretty simple. I want to be short or look for a short location. I need a better way. In between this, let's get this here. Never mind that. Occasionally at night when I get tired, I feel like Mr. Magoo. There we go. This is the area I want to be looking for shorts, and I'm targeting VWAP back. Later in the afternoon, this is the area I'll be targeting for longs, right? And again, I'll let the algo tick me in. Why? I want to push back to VWAP, which is very normal, particularly on balanced days, this is the kind of price action you get. So that keeps me from two things. First of all, I know I don't want to short too close to here. Why? We're likely to push away, right? So in the morning, if you're looking for longs, that's fine. I don't trade the first 30 minutes. So often I'll end up, it's not really a miss. There's just no trade there for me. In the morning, we were looking for location up here on the edge. And that's exactly what we did. If you'll look, tweeted, and we can look at the time. So that was 7:06. So that's 9:06 a.m. my time. That's 7:06 California, right? 27:38.75 against 27:42. So that puts us right here. That's where I'm looking for a trade. This is where I was starting to look for a push back to the downside. I have an enormous edge when I'm looking for a trade in this area. I'll make sure I have. Wow, I'm on the wrong date. I apologize. I knew that wasn't matching up. Let's see if we can get this right again. Here we go, right there. Now we'll do this. That is right here at 9:08 a.m. Okay, and where did I say I was looking for? 38, right, against 42, which is up here, and it was an overnight swing high. Okay, and that's exactly where we shorted. And you'll notice I took some heat on that trade up against me, but it did roll back into the volume point of control, right? And then we ended up then getting a further extension down. Now, remember what I said earlier. Where am I looking for longs on my radar screen? I want to get into this area, wherever that happens to be when we push down. Look in the afternoon. See, when I'm already locating my trades down in this area, I have a huge advantage that I'm likely to get a push. So notice it did roll down, but notice on this first time in this area, push back up, right? Push to the bottom of this area, push back up. Notice as we push down further in, right, towards 12 o'clock, we're coming into the support area. How do I know this is a support area? Because remember, my members, team members in the room, already have this chart right here, right, which came off the points of control. That's 27.25, right? So when I look at that 27.25, that's right there. So I know I'm stretched, and now I know I have location down here. So watch what happens. There's my 27.25, right? And there's my response, and this is my potential upside target, right? So that means a couple of things. I'm in a high odds location because I'm stretched. I'm trying not to make this boring because I know people drop off when you make it boring, right? But what people are missing, there's no instant revelation in trading. That's what people are missing. You're putting together puzzles, right? And the reason why people boom bust in trading, the reason they boom bust in trading is because they're looking for constant busyness and they're trying to grab every little angle. If instead you'll look and go, okay, I've got my radar here. This is the algo. It's telling me where my extensions up and down are, where I want to start looking for trades. I've got my daily chart. That's this right here, telling me where I should expect to find responsive buyers and sellers. And I'm basically looking for anomalies and holes in the profile to get that set up. That's step 2, right? And then I'm coming in over here, and now I'm using my radar to look where I'm looking for location. And then finally, the algo tells me where traders are stepping in pretty heavy and where they're not. Why is that important? Because occasionally zones get blown up. If you'll look at this 27.27 to 27.25, we actually pushed all the way in, and our first big positive delta occurs right here. And then I get a message from Randy, and he says, I got the long at 27.27, and I was able to take 3 points out of that trade. Randy's one of the members in the room, and it really makes me feel great when you can locate that location before the market opens. You can get your guys to be patient and wait for the market to get stretched, and then they have a fantastic reward. This trade right here was worth a total of 6 points. To the upside, that's $300 a contract. That's a fantastic trade, and it was pretty straightforward from the time it came into the zone. You had location, you had the algo triggering you into the trade, technically on that 527 delta right there, triggered you long, right? And then you moved right back in. It didn't quite hit target. Target was 27.33, but it came 27.34. It came to 27.33 within a point. That's pretty darn close for a winning trade, right? Okay, so I want to talk about a shift that's pretty important here, right? So how did we figure out it was short up here, and what did we have to go through? Sometimes when the market's grinding like it is right now, and you have great trade location, what a lot of traders will try to do is they'll try to make it perfect. meaning they want to trade in, they want to trade out, and they want to be really active because the market was just swinging up and down really quickly. And the other thing they tend to want to do is what they want to be momentum traders. They're like, we've broken to the downside. Let me short here, right? But remember, short right now is a hard side. You're going to constantly have people stepping back in. So look how they bring it up against you every single time, right? And you have to know if you're day trading and you're trying to swing that position that they're going to bring it back all the way against you. And you'll see I actually eventually made a mistake because what I said was I give, and I said I'm taking half my trade it. Let's see, hold on a sec. I got impatient on the entry. I took 27.37 and 3/4 and 27.38.75. But you'll also see I got impatient over here, and right here. So I've been in the trade for quite a while, right? Now it's 10:41. I entered. It's been over an hour since I've been in the trade, and I finally gave and I said I'm taking 2 points on the trade instead of the 3 points I had at one point. And then I took the other point at 4 points and I moved the stop to break even. And then we got the most bizarre algo right here, right before we rolled down. I survived this push all the way back when I figured when we finally got here that we would hold this underbelly right here. See how, if you look at that chart, I know this looks probably a little confusing, but if you look, I figured now once we had punched underneath here for a second, underneath this double bottom here, once we pushed underneath, I figured now I could get this extension is what I was looking for, by the way. And I moved my stop to break even, and you can see they came almost to the tick to stop me out. And that really, it wasn't a bad deal because I already got 2 and 4 points and I covered the majority of the trade, but it sure would have not been nice to get that swing to the downside. So how do I want to wrap this all up? What's important in here to your trading? Number one, day trading is not easy, right? It constantly shifts. Sometimes shorting is very, very easy. Sometimes it's very, very difficult, right? To get the best location on the day, you had to be willing to wait until we stretched for a long from 27.40 all the way down to 27.24. It's not that this gave you the best rotation, but these are the locations. When you get big stretches like this, you'll notice this is from 27.42 all the way down to 27.25. This is 15 points worth of stretch. This is the location that if you're going to hit home runs, you had the potential to move all the way back up to that recent swing high of 27.43. And I'm really pretty sure had this not been our 6th or 7th day up in a row, you would have gotten that swing, right? And then notice the other part that's very important. See these guys here who are trying to swing the trade off of the prior day's volume point of control versus waiting for structure from the TPO. These guys had a trade and there was nothing wrong with it, but this is where you were going to get set up to really get the most beautiful swing all the way back to the upside. And what was the logical target to the upside, by the way? Don't forget, your logical target is always back to the mid, and we just missed the mid right here. Like it was within a hair. We came within a hair. 27.34 would have completed it into the 50.60, and we just missed it, right? So anyways, that's how the trading day unfolded. What did I learn? I'm going to be patient with shorts in the morning. I'd rather be long than short right now because of the kind of market that we're in, right? I want to have a trade plan and a structure. The trades I'm entering, these aren't guesses that I'm looking at, and I want to show you the reason why. Look at what I did when I took this trade over here. Is this me? Nope. Let's see. There we go. When I took that short at 27.38, right, against 27.42, notice the things that were already going on, already from pre-market, right? We had already had a impulse move to the downside that was the largest downside move of that, all going well into the morning, right? This was the largest downside move. We were coming back up to retest that area. I waited for the first sign of a break back to the downside, and then I knew one or two things were going to happen. Either we were going to set a lower high, or we were going to come back and attempt this double top off of Globex high, right? But either way, I knew I wanted to see the seller show up first. I got that here, right? I then waited patiently for the backside test back up into that bar. That's why I'm getting short over here. And I knew I had to hold all of that from the entry at 9:06 a.m. until I finally got my what turned out to be my best scale all the way over here at 10:24, over an hour later, right? This is slow grind. This whole move used to take place in under 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, right? Now it takes an hour to play out. It wasn't that I was being patient, it was that I was committed, that I thought I had the right location on the trade, and that I already had the impulse move down, and I had evidence. The algo's telling me negative 2006. That's the biggest negative delta we've had from all of overnight and into the morning session. I knew that that told me that there was a presence of sellers available and that now I could start working the backside test. But because we're in an up market, we can push beyond it. Hence, I needed the appropriate stop, which was 1 point above the swing high from overnight, which is exactly what I did. And that's what let me take the profit. And I don't know if I lost patience or I just got unlucky, but this whole move right here took place in a matter of minutes, and it was going right into New York lunch. It was a bizarre algo. Otherwise, I think I would have survived and ended up taking 10 points off my trailer, but that's not here nor there. It didn't turn out to be. The next place I took a trade, if you'll look, outside of having location, right? There was multiple ways to trade this. And the best way, or one of the best ways I thought to trade this, was right here when we pushed back. I want to show you this. When we come off the lows, so see when we finally make this impulse and we trade back in below the last swing low over here, we make this impulse. See this 50-60 right here? I'm going to draw this for you. Okay. So see how right in here we come to the backside test, the 50-60, and then the algo. I want to spread this out. The algo is highlighting this bar because this was a high volume bar here to the left. So see how I came right back to test that high volume bar? That's what the bright orange line around that means. And now that gives me an instant trade from, and I pointed this out in the room in real time, 27, 27 and a quarter, all the way back to 27.32. That's a 5-point trade. It's a great way to tack on an extra few points in the afternoon. So that's how we do it in the room. It's just detailed, structured trading again and again and again to get your winning trades. So if you'd like to be a structured trader, if you'd like to visit us in the room, send me an email to tradertough@gmail.com. I'll be happy to extend you a 5-day pass. And again, the important parts: trade location, rotation size. The algo gives us additional edge in the room, and that allows us to take our 1 to 2 trades a day, be very profitable, and be able to build both size and profits over time. Anyways, that's my 2 cents, guys. Have a great night. I hope that helped. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, whether you liked it, hated it, or otherwise. All questions are welcome, and I'm more than happy to answer them. So have a great night. We'll see y'all soon.